Hey guys, what is up? It is your boy T for 365 Horror Vlog, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at 10 movies I do not want to be thinking about while I'm on my vacation. And we're going to get into it right now. Now, we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, this video is best watched with a movie tracker. I like to use Letterboxd. It's just the easiest way to keep track of the movies that you've seen and want to see. And lastly, I just want to make a note that this is just a fun video where I'm going to be going over a couple of movies that you can add to your watch list, things that I do not want to think about on my vacation. Again, not only is just for fun, but it's also a massive thank you for 500 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and I really hope that all of you guys are enjoying the videos. But with that, let's walk through the vacation. So the first thing I'm going to do is, you usually pack up and you get ready to get on the plane. And as I'm boarding the plane, if there's one movie I do not want to be thinking about, it is Final Destination. This is one of my favorite, greatest early 2000s, late 90s movies, but it does have a very visceral beginning airplane crash scene where the plane barely gets into the air. So as I find myself sitting down after watching that movie or thinking about that movie, I do find myself kind of looking around and seeing if I can identify a series of events that pretty much is telling me to get the F off this plane. I do it every time I get on a plane to travel. I can't help it. I have no choice but to kind of look around, and I'm just like, okay, he spilled his drink, and oh, they look like they're fighting. What is that red light? Why is the engine flapping? I find myself just really looking and trying to identify these little things that can, warn me of the final destination. And of course, the part that I'm really referring to is the beginning. The plane barely gets off the ground in his vision, and it just blows up, and it's a fiery death for everybody. The plane rips apart, the way it burns, people getting like torn apart as they like screaming as they get ripped off the plane. It's just something that I would never want to go through, and it is a movie that always crosses my mind as I board the plane. So once I'm on the plane, I'm settled in, they're bringing around the peanuts and the drinks, the small cookies, and at that time I usually am looking around, and the movie that I do not want to think about as I settle into my flight is a movie like Red Eye. And although this isn't a total horror, it is a thriller with Rachel McAdams, but Red Eye just reminds me that there can be so much going on a plane that you don't know about. Like, from the people on the plane, you don't know if they're fleeing something or if they're fleeing the law, if they're murderers who are leaving the country. Like, you just don't know what all of these people are. And it always reminds me as I look around that, anything can kind of happen and you don't know the situations of people. So that is a movie I always think about while I'm on the plane. So once the plane lands, we settle in, we get to Mexico, you open the airport, you get that hot blast of heat, and then it's time to usually board your bus. And the bus usually takes a good minute to get to the resort. And as I'm on the bus, one of the movies that this isn't a movie I don't want to think about. I don't want to be in a horror movie. So no matter how this comes off, I do not want to think about this movie, but I always used to think about a movie, Club Dread. And this is just another early 2000s, not politically correct movie, objectification, body, everything that you can think of in a 90s movie. This is not a 2023 movie, but hey, when I was young, I used to have dreams of going to these like island resorts where it was going to be basically hedonistic degeneracy. So it just reminds me of that. I'm not saying that that's what I want, baby. That is not what I want. I do not want a hedonistic trip, but it is a movie that I tend to think about when I'm going to live that resort life. So once we're there, we usually arrive kind of early, and I like to do some excursions while I'm there. The little trips that they take you on, I love those. And the two trips that I really plan on doing and want to do is I want to snorkel with the turtles and I want to see the Chichen Itza ruins. So those excursions usually take a good part of the morning. So the first one I'm going to go through is if I was going to do the snorkeling with the turtles, if there's one movie I do not want to think about while I'm on a boat, and that is the movie Open Water. And this is a movie about people who are left behind on a snorkeling trip. They go snorkel at the bottom. So as I find myself doing the snorkeling, I do find myself out of the corner of my eye looking for the boat, looking at the boat very intensely, making sure that the boat doesn't leave me behind, because this movie is frightening, especially for the situation that people are in. Again, it's about a movie being left. Now, a full caveat, due to your boy's physicality, generally I don't get left behind or forgotten. You know, I'm a very distinct character, but it's still something that's always in the back of my mind. So I'm always would be like, hey baby, make sure you know the boat doesn't leave us, because I do not want to be in the middle of the ocean with no communication, no nothing. That's just a really good movie. There's actually 3 parts to it. I suggest all 3. It's just the situation is crazy in that movie, and it's something I definitely don't want to think about while I'm on my way to the snorkeling. So we get there, the boat, put my snorkel on, life jacket, hit the water, and if there's one movie I don't want to think about, I'm just going to go back to the classics, because if you know me, I do have a minor touch of thalassophobia. I don't like dark water. I cannot see the bottom of, and so generally in movies, I just don't like it when you're floating in the water, and then someone's always got to be like, what? Huh? Something brushed my leg. What's going on? You know, as they start getting eaten. So that will lead me to the next movie I do not want to think about while I'm in the water, and that is the movie Jaws. Just a classic, in the water, get chewed up, get eaten up movie. Don't want anything like that. Don't want sea creatures. Shit, don't even want a piece of seaweed to brush my leg while I'm in there. It will just freak me out. So that is a movie I definitely don't want to think about while I'm in the water. Now, I'm just going to give you guys one more movie, because the other excursion that I would love to do is I want to go see the Chichen Itza ruins. And obviously, if there's one movie I do not want to think about while I am caving or doing anything like that, any kind of exploring of ruins, and that is just the movie The Ruins. That is a terrifying movie. Don't want to be part of it. Don't want to be in it. Already don't like hiking. So, you know, I'm already not loving it to the extreme. So to be caught and faced with death or creatures or anything weird, it would probably annoy me a little bit, because I would just be like, damn it, I should have been on the beach. Why am I stuck in these ruins? So that is definitely, if I am visiting ruins, a movie I do not want to be thinking about. So once we get back from the excursions, you know, we usually will go hit the room, change, and then it's time to kind of go hit the beach, man. Just relax. You've gotten on boats and buses and did something for the morning, and now it is time to relax. And as I head down to the beach, especially my little private section, because I do like to go VIP, I don't want to really be thinking about the movie Old. And although that was a great movie, I did like the way the story went on. It's just something I think about, something weird. I do tend to sometimes have a tinfoil hat. So, hey, what if they're doing this for this? Or, what if they looked at me like this for this? So, you know, there's always like kind of an ulterior motive to things. I don't want to think of the movie Old while I'm on the beach. After an afternoon on the beach, it is time to hit up the buffets. And if you're looking at your boy, you know one thing, I loves me some buffets, especially if the food's good. And at this place in the VIP section, the food is great. But if there's one movie I do not want to think of while I'm hitting the buffets, that is the movie The Platform. Just gross. I already don't like chewed food. I don't like half-eaten stuff. Even at home, like, if I have bites and things, I might cut the bites off just so my piece doesn't look like bit up. You know what I mean? I just don't like, I barely like cleaning out any kind of food trap. I don't like old food. So the thought of being in Platform on the bottom floor, getting the food last and having no choice but to eat scraps, and oh my God, it turns my stomach. And as you can tell, I like food. So I definitely do not want to be eating gross food, and I do not want to be thinking of the movie The Platform while I'm at the buffet. So after we eat some food, head back to the room, chill out a bit, it's time to get our drink on and go have some fun. So this is, if there's any movie, and there's a little bit of a funny story behind this one. So this movie is going to be pertaining to nightlife and having fun at the clubs and whatnot. And last year when we were in Mexico, we actually met another couple. Great people, really liked them. They're actually from close to my hometown. Yeah, so we kind of hit it off and everything. And we were, oh, you're from there too? Great. We're chilling. It's all of a good time. And then at one point, the girl from the couple kind of looks over and she's like, hey, we come here all the time and I like to often go watch my friend play in a band. So why don't you come into town after hours and we'll go to the club and we'll watch my friend play? And I was like, how do you get there? And she's like, well, we'll just get a taxi and then you just get a taxi back and it's all good. And the first thing I did is I looked at my girl and I was like, Hostel. And that's just one movie I do not want to think about while I'm enjoying the nightlife. I know Hostel is more about them staying in a hostel. But if you remember the beginning of the movie, it is them meeting a couple in the club, having fun, and then getting kind of lured to these places. So I remember we went back to the room and my girl was like, so should we go? And I was like, hell no. We just met these people. I am not going to a club in the downtown Mexico at night, far from home, don't know my way, barely know the language. And I'm not going to some club where I wake up with like chained to a tub in a ice water bath or something. I'm just not doing it. I'm not having no part of it. And yeah, it was just funny because later on we actually met the couple in our hometown and we went out for wings and some dinners. And I actually told them the story. And even she was like, yeah, like that makes sense. You barely know us and we're inviting you like off the resort. It just felt like a red flag. So if there's one movie I do not want to think of while I'm having fun and enjoying the nightlife in Mexico, and that is a movie like Hostel. So that's going to pretty much wrap up the trip. That's going to be everything I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave you guys with one more movie because if you've been counting, there's been 9 and I said 10. So the 10th movie is going to be every time, you enjoy the rest of the trip, it's more of what I just said, rinse and repeat day after day. But when I come home, I always come home and I just look at my house as I drive up and it almost looks like this dark mansion, like not because my house is big, it just looks dark, it looks creepy, right? And so if there's one movie I do not want to think about as I get home, and that is The Strangers, just one of the more scary home invasion movies I know about. I just don't want any part of that. It's always running through my mind. So a lot of times I find myself when I get home, I do like the door throw where I'm just like, seems good. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I always give it a second to breathe. Like, do I hear people rushing me, bum rush? I don't know. It's definitely not a movie that I want to think about as I come home from my vacation. Well, guys, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoyed the movies I picked. And yes, I am going on vacation, so I will be gone for the next week. But before I go, again, I just wanted to give a huge, enormous thanks for everybody getting me to 500 subscribers and subscribing to this channel. To be completely honest, this channel is just a passion project for me. It started out, I was trying to pare down my movie collection and I really wanted to hone in on the movies that I've seen and haven't seen and ones that I wanted to buy. So I did start a spreadsheet as I was watching the movies and I said to my girl, this would be a great thing to share with other horror lovers. And that's how this channel was made. It was just made out of me wanting to catalog my own collection and share the movies with you guys. So from doing something that I actually love and enjoy to get 500 subscribers and see it continually going up, I just want to thank each and every one of you guys. I really appreciate it. And that's it for me. Time for a vacation. So I will see you guys. Oh, if I had to pick 2 movies off this list that you must see, because I mean, that's what we do here. We always pick movies that you must see. The first one is going to be Final Destination. If you haven't watched that, if you haven't watched the franchise, there is only one thing to do this weekend, this week, this month, is to watch those movies, especially since they've announced a 6 coming out. Great movies. I just love the sequence. Great kills. Will make you anxious in your life for many reasons. Definitely check out that one. And the other one I'm going to say, it's going to be a tie. So Open Water is just a scary situation. It always makes me uncomfortable. But other than that, I am going to suggest that you watch the incredibly brutal movie Hostel. So those are going to be my 2 movies that I would say you guys have to watch if you're a fan of good horror movies. Kind of pseudo 3, Open Water was in there. Yeah, but that's going to do it for me. I am going to enjoy some fun in the sun, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.